It's coming up soon, but it's all going to be based on evidence. It's going to be the kind of lawsuit that is full of evidence, admissions.
Justin Baldoni has fired back at Blake Lively's shocking claims, accusing her of wielding her Hollywood connections to intimidate him and twist the story.
Blake Lively went to the New York Times, and the New York Times wrote the sympathetic poor Blake Lively story. Oh, we were all wrong about her.
It seems Blake, who once allegedly harassed Baldoni with her influence, is now playing the victim card to save face. This messy battle of egos and accusations has everyone talking, and it's hard to know who to believe.
Actor-director Justin Baldoni is now suing his former co-star Blake Lively and her husband Ryan Reynolds, seeking more than $400 million in damages, accusing them of defamation and extortion.
Justin Baldoni has decided he's had enough of Blake Lively's creative storytelling and is firing back with his own spicy revelations.
The Hollywood actress Blake Lively has filed a legal complaint against her It Ends With Us co-star Justin Baldoni, alleging sexual harassment and a campaign to destroy her reputation.
After Lively accused him of sexual harassment and other inappropriate behavior on the set of It Ends With Us, Baldoni is now claiming she's the real mastermind behind this circus.
What's going on here? What does he say? Why is he suing them?
And the cherry on top? Baldoni is suing Lively and Reynolds for a casual $400 million, claiming defamation and Hollywood sabotage. Ever the hero, Baldoni insists he won't settle quietly and will make all his evidence public. Sure, because airing everyone's dirty laundry has always gone well in Hollywood. Meanwhile, the trial set for March 2026 promises more fireworks than the 4th of July.
You know, he is suing for defamation, extortion, and basically, in layman's terms, shady business practices.
Baldoni alleges that Lively cooked up these allegations to revive her career because, starring in hit movies and being a social media darling just wasn't cutting it. And let's not forget the part where Baldoni blames her for his career struggles, as if Reynolds and Lively have a secret mission to destroy him.
Justin Baldoni, who's not as well known. And see, they've been following the story. So he optioned this book called It Ends With Us, and it's about domestic violence. And he managed to get Blake Lively to star in his movie across from him.
Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively are two names that don't usually scream controversy. But their collaboration on It Ends With Us has turned into anything but smooth sailing. At first, everything seemed perfect. Baldoni, the self-proclaimed advocate for modern masculinity, and Lively, a Hollywood darling with an effortless charm, were an exciting and surprising choice for this adaptation of Colleen Hoover's bestseller. On paper, it looked like a match made in cinematic heaven. Blake went all in, even encouraging fans to attend screenings dressed in florals, a quirky move for a story centered around domestic violence. Her drama stunts are getting too much.
First of all, I want men to stop asking the question, why do women stay?
Yeah.
Right? I want men to take accountability. I want men to hold other men accountable.
And then there was Justin, the man who cried in interviews about breaking down gender stereotypes and who wrote books about emotional vulnerability, seemed like he was ready to pour his heart into the role. It was more than a job for him. He was the male lead, co-directing the film and shaping the narrative both in front of and behind the camera.
So he gets Blake Lively. She's married to Ryan Reynolds. These are Hollywood A-listers. He's going to put him on the map. And she agrees to be his female co-star. Great, they're off to the races.
For a while, everything seemed fine. The press tour painted a picture of unity. Blake was enthusiastic and engaged, Justin was thoughtful and respectful, and fans were cautiously optimistic. It looked like Hollywood's unlikely duo was making it work. But behind closed doors, let's just say the calm before the storm didn't last long.
She's brought the suit, and he's got to defend himself. And there's some very serious allegations being made against him and Wayfair for harassment.
Out of nowhere, Blake Lively dropped a massive bombshell, accusing Justin Baldoni of sexual harassment and workplace misconduct. And she didn't hold back. She claimed he crossed the line during intimate scenes, got way too personal in conversations, and had zero respect for boundaries on set. Hollywood was stunned. This wasn't just another rumor. It was a full-blown scandal.
I want all the roles for me and only me. I want full control because I am a controlling bully.
But let's not forget, this wasn't just a one-sided story. Those close to the production started coming forward with their takes, and things got messy fast. People working with her hinted that Blake wasn't the easiest person to work with. They described her as a control freak on set, insisting on specific approaches to intimacy scenes, overriding creative decisions, and making her presence felt in ways that rubbed people the wrong way.
It's not going to be just a lawsuit. It's going to be the kind of lawsuit that is full of evidence, admissions, documents, which prove exactly what she did.
Justin Baldoni has now dropped a bombshell, exposing what he claims are the calculated power plays of Blake Lively and her partner, Ryan Reynolds. According to Baldoni, this isn't just about personal grievances, but a larger, orchestrated attempt to tarnish his reputation and hijack control of the narrative surrounding their contentious film project.
And we're carefully considering other people that will be sued also, and some of them will come as a surprise. Ryan Reynolds, for sure.
Reynolds, known for his sharp wit and social media dominance, allegedly played a pivotal role in amplifying the drama, pulling strings behind the scenes to back Lively's accusations and sway public opinion.
She bullied her way through the process to take over the movie and used her PR people to try and destroy Justin.
Baldoni's accusations suggest a deliberate strategy to weaponize public sympathy, with Lively and Reynolds allegedly using their Hollywood clout to undermine him professionally and personally. He claims their actions were about addressing grievances and turning the entire production into a battlefield of egos and PR warfare. Let's start with Blake. Boundaries are important, and advocating for yourself on set is crucial.
Really shows that she's the center of attention. She takes this opportunity that he has to train himself and prepare for a scene as somehow relating to her weight.
But according to insiders, Blake didn't just draw boundaries. She built an entire fortress and crowned herself queen. Allegedly, she was calling the shots, leaving little room for collaboration. And when Justin Baldoni, juggling the roles of co-star and director, dared to push back, that's when things went nuclear. What began as creative disagreements reportedly turned into a full-blown battle of egos. And the timing of Blake's legal complaint? Suspicious doesn't even begin to cover it. It dropped right as It Ends With Us faced mounting scrutiny, with fans already skeptical about whether Colleen Hoover's complex story could survive Hollywood's glossy treatment. Was Blake's move less about seeking justice and more about deflecting blame before the backlash landed? You decide.
100% Ryan was the one who put this line in here. Not SNL, not Tina Fey, not Blake Lively, but Ryan.
Now, let's talk about Ryan Reynolds, because apparently he's not just sipping gin and cracking jokes. Baldoni's camp alleges that Ryan is the mastermind behind this fiasco. The timing, the narrative, and the carefully crafted victim storyline reeks of PR wizardry. Ryan's reportedly been working behind the scenes to ensure Blake's reputation stays spotless, while Justin is left to pick up the pieces.
And in my opinion, he rose above and was way kinder and more professional than I would have been.
But Baldoni has to defend himself. These allegations are very serious, and he's really but no choice but to now come out with everything that he's got.
Meanwhile, Justin's team was scrambling. The accusations were a direct attack on everything he stood for. The man who cried about societal expectations of men, who openly talked about the importance of creating safe spaces for women, now found himself in the middle of a scandal that threatened to tear down everything he'd built.
And then Justin Baldoni did something very smart. He hired the lawyer who represented me in my fight with NBC News, which ended well.
But here's where it gets interesting. Justin didn't immediately go on the defensive. Instead, his PR team took a calculated approach, staying quiet at first and letting the media frenzy play out. It wasn't until later that they started pushing back, dropping subtle hints that Blake's story might not be as clear-cut as it seemed.
She winds up suing Justin Baldoni. She files a complaint with the Human Rights Commission out in California saying, He sexual harassed me, and then he retaliated me by pushing all this bad press about me.
Of course, by this point, the damage has already been done. The narrative had spiraled out of control, with fans and critics alike taking sides. Some saw Blake as a hero, standing up against another powerful Hollywood man. Others questioned her motives, wondering if this was less about justice and more about control.
Arguably, for the first time at the premiere, you find out that Blake Lively tells people that all of a sudden he wrote a scene in the movie.
Ryan's writing one scene from the movie proved to be the final nail in the coffin. Either way, one thing is clear. This wasn't just about Justin and Blake anymore. It was about power dynamics, public perception, and the blurred lines between personal and professional boundaries. And with both stars refusing to back down, it became obvious that this drama was far from over.
Hollywood power couple Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds and actor and director Justin Baldoni. The plot of this lawsuit is actually more interesting, I believe, than the film that they made.
Hollywood scandals are nothing new. But this one? This had all the makings of a blockbuster, complete with shocking twists, messy accusations, and two leads who seemed determined to outplay each other. For Justin and Blake, the stakes couldn't be higher. And for the rest of us, well, let's just say it's hard to look away.
He told us that Justin Baldoni claims she tried to take over his movie because she has a history of saying, okay, I'll be the star, but what I secretly want to do is direct it and edit it and produce it.
Let's not even get started on Blake Lively's control freak tendencies, but we absolutely have to. Because if there's one thing Blake is better at than acting, it's controlling a narrative. And trust me, when it comes to the set of It Ends With Us, she wasn't just playing her character. No, Blake was also unofficially starring as the self-appointed director, intimacy coordinator, PR strategist, and queen of micromanagement.
It Ends With Us is in theaters now, so grab your friends, wear your florals, and head out to see it.
First off, the audacity of Blake suggesting fans show up to support It Ends With Us wearing florals is peak Blake spin. Remember, this is a movie about domestic violence, a heavy, heart-wrenching story, and she's out here treating it like Coachella. Critics were quick to call her out, labeling the suggestion tone-deaf and borderline offensive. But did that stop her? Of course not. Blake doubled down, saying it was a way to reframe the narrative. Reframe it into what exactly? A floral runway show?
She sees herself as Khaleesi from Game of Thrones, mother of dragons.
But don't think this is a one-off case of poor judgment. No. Blake has a track record for spinning serious topics into Instagram-ready content. Remember when she promoted the rhythm section by talking about how empowering it was to portray a traumatized woman seeking revenge? People rolled their eyes so hard, you could practically hear them.
And Blake Lively went to the New York Times, and the New York Times wrote the sympathetic poor Blake Lively story. Oh, we were all wrong about her and her weird PR. She's actually a good person and a Me Too victim.
But this time, her habit of reframing narratives extended beyond the press tour and into the actual production of It Ends With Us. And trust me, things got messy.
So she says he's been harassing her, and they bring in some team, and he says, whatever you want, I will do it or not do it. You tell me.
Forget the fact that Justin Baldoni was officially the director. Blake allegedly took it upon herself to step in as an unofficial intimacy coordinator. Now, having an intimacy coordinator is a crucial part of creating a safe environment for actors during sensitive scenes. But Blake? She reportedly went overboard, micromanaging every aspect of these moments. Sources say she was dictating them, overriding the actual professionals.
So negative press swirled around her during this whole, like a month, right? Later, she would describe this as though it was the pile-on against Trump. Honestly, it's like most of us, especially in Republican politics or the news, this is called Tuesday for us.
And let's not forget the timing of her allegations against Justin Baldoni. While Blake framed her legal complaint as a response to workplace misconduct, the whispers on set suggest there might be more to it. Some insiders believe this was her way of regaining control of a narrative that she felt was slipping away. Because let's face it, Blake doesn't just let things slide. If there's a narrative to shape, she'll be the one holding the scissors.
When we see the truth, or some of these, at least Baldoni's truth, we see the other side of it, and that at least according to him, and many people believe this, that she was the aggressor pretending to be the victim.
Justin's team clearly saw through it. They even pointed out how Blake's timing and tactics echoed her past behavior, suggesting a calculated move to stay in the public's good graces. And honestly, it's hard to argue. Blake's legal complaint paints her as a victim, but her actions on set tell a different story. One of someone unwilling to let go of the reins, even when they weren't hers to hold. So here we are, watching a battle of narratives unfold. Blake, with her perfectly curated image, has thrown the first punch. But Justin, with these text messages, might just have the upper hand.
And so the more time we got to spend with Blake Lively, the less we liked her.
Let's dive into the delicious irony of Blake Lively's past behavior, because, trust me, it's the kind of thing that could give an Oscar-worthy performance a run for its money. Blake has always been the golden girl of Hollywood, exuding charm and elegance on red carpets while carefully crafting an image of sophistication. But now the cracks are starting to show. For starters, those resurfaced Mean Girl interview clips. Yep, Blake's own words are coming back to haunt her. Take that infamous 2012 interview with Allure, where she casually threw shade at other actresses for taking on roles she deemed beneath her. Blake claimed she wasn't interested in nudity or risque roles, yet here she is, embroiled in an It Ends With Us scandal that involves intimate scene drama. It's almost poetic.
He was behind it because I found his agent, his PR agent's nasty text saying, "We can ruin her. If we have to ruin her, we will."
But Blake's narrative control goes beyond PR gymnastics. Insiders have pointed out her alleged hypersensitivity to constructive criticism. Whether it's a director suggesting an alternate take or a co-star disagreeing with her approach, Blake reportedly doesn't take it well. And this isn't just hearsay. Multiple crew members on past projects have hinted at how her need for perfection often created tension on set. It's a stark contrast to her cool girl public persona, isn't it? The woman who's all smiles for the camera reportedly doesn't handle dissent behind the scenes. Which brings us to Justin Baldoni. Here's a guy who's practically built a brand on self-awareness and emotional growth. His Man Enough podcast is full of heartfelt discussions about vulnerability, toxic masculinity, and the importance of being better, both as a man and as a human being. And yet, he's the one facing allegations from Blake. The irony here is almost too much to handle.
She had already began to exert control over so many aspects of production, not just rewriting the script, but she had also taken over wardrobe, causing the wardrobe budget to go over by hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Now, let's get into the juicy details of Blake's alleged list of demands during the filming of It Ends With Us. It's a masterclass in control, starting with her requirements for an intimacy coordinator. Don't get me wrong, having an intimacy coordinator is essential for creating a safe on-set environment, but Blake reportedly took things to an extreme.
She says he inappropriately smelled my neck when we were doing a scene. Then you see the scene, they're dancing, they're caressing, they're making out, it's like, but the neck thing was too much when he smelled it?
According to leaked production notes, Blake insisted on strict no-contact rules that went beyond the script. Even moments of implied intimacy were allegedly subject to her micromanagement. Then there's her prohibition of discussions around personal topics. While it's understandable that some topics are off-limits, insiders claim Blake used this as a shield to shut down any conversations that didn't align with her preferred narrative. One crew member even described an incident where Justin tried to offer condolences during a quiet moment, only for Blake to brush him off and later accuse him of crossing boundaries.
And she had this, in my opinion, a ginormous sense of worth and ego, and he was just trying to placate her, because not only was he the actor, but as we've established, he was the director, and his production company, Wayfarer Studios, produced the movie.
And let's talk about how these demands impacted the production environment. By all accounts, Justin's creative input was heavily stifled. Multiple sources claim Blake vetoed several of his directorial choices, arguing they didn't align with her vision for the film. Remember, Justin is the director here, not Blake. Yet she allegedly treated the set like her personal playground, dictating everything from lighting choices to to dialogue tweaks.
According to his amended complaint, repeatedly, Lively threatened and threatened and threatened to get her ways and get more and more control. Even during post-production, she threatened that she would not promote the movie unless she got this and that.
It's no wonder tensions ran high. Imagine trying to balance a complex, emotionally charged story, like It Ends With Us, while navigating Blake's never-ending list of requirements. One anonymous crew member told Deadline in January 2025 that her micromanagement slowed production to a crawl. Scenes that should have taken hours reportedly stretched into days because Blake wasn't satisfied with the tiniest details.
Or is she just extremely high maintenance and someone who plays the victim when she doesn't get her way?
And here's the kicker. Despite her demands, Blake has managed to frame herself as the victim in this situation. It's a narrative that's hard to swallow when you look at the full picture. Justin Baldoni, the self-aware director trying to navigate a challenging project, versus Blake Lively, the actress turned micromanager with a penchant for narrative control. Social media, once a platform for sharing photos of brunch and sunsets, has become the battleground for Hollywood's most intense wars. In the ongoing clash between Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively, ignoring how much of the narrative is being fought and reshaped online is impossible. If this saga proves anything, it's that behind every celebrity feud lies an army of PR teams, anonymous sources, and carefully orchestrated campaigns designed to sway public opinion. And this story is no exception.
He actually counters that she and her publicist orchestrated a smear campaign against him.
Let's start with the alleged smear campaigns. According to insider leaks, both Justin and Blake have reportedly been on the receiving end of targeted attacks. For Justin, it's been accusations ranging from on-set misconduct to abusing his power as both co-star and director. Blake, on the other hand, has faced backlash for her alleged micromanaging and insensitive comments, all amplified by what many suspect are calculated leaks. And if you think these are just coincidences, think again. PR teams thrive in situations like this, turning whispers into headlines and feeding divisive narratives to social media.
They are being so wildly manipulative and dishonest as they have been since the beginning of this entire process that they are literally mining clips on the internet, taking them out of context so that they can produce a narrative that reads like a script to us.
Of course, Blake isn't just sitting around waiting for the dust to settle. Evidence from various leaked communications suggests she's been managing her own damage control. Messages reportedly sent to trusted industry contacts show her strategizing ways to protect her reputation. One particularly juicy detail: a source alleges that Blake consulted with her team to frame herself as the face of resilience, an actress who overcame challenges on set while maintaining her professionalism. This narrative not only aligns with her existing brand, but also paints Justin as the villain, whether the facts support it or not. But let's step back for a moment and think about the bigger picture: how celebrities manipulate online narratives to their advantage. It's no secret that Hollywood is as much about perception as it is about talent. Stars know that controlling public opinion can make or break their careers, especially during a scandal.
Everyone in this room, because you're here, I know this about you, you've been gaslit to high heaven every time you've picked up a newspaper in the United States.
Now, let's zoom out even further and talk about the shocking truth behind Hollywood narratives. At its core, this feud is a masterclass in how celebrity allegations are weaponized for public sympathy. One moment, someone is a feminist hero. The next, they're labeled problematic. PR teams are the invisible hands pulling the strings, creating heroes and villains out of complex situations. And the craziest part? Fans eat it up, forming alliances and waging wars online, all while the truth remains murky at best. Blake and Justin's story is a prime example of how easily public opinion can be swayed. Leaked texts, anonymous sources, and one-sided headlines are all designed to provoke emotional reactions rather than provide clarity. It's a strategy as old as Hollywood itself, but social media has amplified it to another level. Now, it's not just about controlling the narrative, it's about weaponizing it to destroy your opponent. Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni's drama is just heating up, Stay tuned and subscribe for all the juicy updates.